Aubri Reed has a passion for unity and raising up community leaders to stand against injustice. Since 2018, she has connected with over 350 agencies and individuals across the state by coordinating educational and collaboration opportunities to learn how to recognize, recover, and restore the vulnerable lives of sexual trauma. As an advocate, she assists people to access and understand appropriate resources. Through encouragement and empowerment, she hopes to help others recognize their calling to fulfill their purpose. Karla Solomon is a survivor and overcomer. She shares her powerful testimony and works tirelessly to equip individuals, airports, law enforcement, churches, schools, and many other organizations to recognize exploitation. Since 2017, Karla has effectively trained and reached hundreds of people throughout the state of Texas and the nation. As a survivor advocate, she works closely with other victims and survivors of all ages to share hope and resources available to assist them in their personal journey to become an overcomer. Welcome, ladies. You have the floor.
Thank you. I'm Aubri Reed here. We are out of the state of Texas in the Hill Country area north of San Antonio and Kerrville. I want to thank Dennis Ferguson for just continued support. He used to live in Kerrville. He's now in Galveston, but he, even 300 miles away, he's continuing to connect us and get us involved in any way we can. So thank you, Dennis. And his wife, Gwen, who works directly with our ministry as well. I also want to thank Michelle for coordinating this. I know we got on the books back in February, so you guys are organized and we really appreciate that. So thank you. And then also you guys mentioned the Kansas District Rotary. We do have an opportunity to share with them in September, so we're excited about that as well. We love partnerships and just any opportunity to share what our ministry is doing and sharing the good news and all that we have learned. There's a lot that we have learned. We'll try to keep our presentation somewhat short. We do have a PowerPoint too. So thank you guys for your time and your attention this morning. Karla is also on the call, so we are both going to kind of tag team and just kind of share what our ministry is doing in this fight against trafficking.
Hi, everyone. The only thing I wanted to say is I believe I'll also be coming to Galveston area for another organization to share for their fundraiser. So if you guys are not familiar with Unbound, they actually have I'm not sure if it's a residential program out there, but yeah, they are doing some awesome stuff in y'all's area. So that would be cool to connect you guys also.
So we kind of focus on 4 different areas with our ministry to prevent, rescue, restore, and advocate. I am an advocate. I've been with Mercy Gate since 2018. I assist Karla in outreach programs and sharing what we're doing through different organizations and just different opportunities throughout the community. And Karla is our lead survivor advocate and supervisor. So she also leads women who have come out of the program, transitioning out, and also wanting to share their testimony and make an impact on the community as well. Just a brief overview about what we do, and then we'll share a recent video that we put together. We have a couple of programs, residential and non-residential services through our Magdalene House and then also ARC, our advocacy program. So we serve survivors of sexual trauma in general. We've kind of broadened that terminology because it does fall under trafficking, exploitation, prostitution, addiction, and abuse, which are all of the signs and all of the things that we do and we help these women go through or help overcome is sexual trauma, even from the young age of 2 years old. So we serve Kerr County and surrounding counties in the area. We partner with agencies statewide, the governor's office, and then also international connections that we will share more in detail.
You want me to start from the complete beginning? She started taking me to drug dealers' houses and having me sleep with the drug dealers in exchange for drugs. I lived on the streets from the time that I was 11 until I was 14, exchanging the use of my body for basic needs. I built a relationship with a man who I thought was my Prince Charming. I soon found out that it was all a big manipulation. My Prince Charming turned into a monster. I tried to run away in Houston, but I didn't get very far. He told me that if I didn't come back, he was going to take my 5-year-old daughter and do the same thing to her. I find this cross. I remember holding it and shedding one quiet tear because I didn't want him to hear me. And I remember looking up at the ceiling, and all I said was, I can't take this anymore. 3 days later, I was recovered by law enforcement, walking out of this hotel. And I broke, and I fell to the ground, and I cried, and I told the cops that they just saved my life. But that was just the beginning of the hardest part. The healing journey afterwards was harder than just surviving.
I remember being in my kitchen and knowing that something was wrong. She told me she had taken a bottle of pills and that she wanted to die. I knew the Lord was saying that she needs help, and I want you to help her.
I tell a lot of people that was the day that I tried to throw in the towel, and God threw it back in my face and said, no, you got work to do.
Meeting and loving Karla compelled us to dive deep into this dark world of trafficking and sexual exploitation. We knew we needed to step into this space and fill the gaps of services for these women. This is where we needed to put our focus.
Today, I serve as the survivor advocate for Gate Ministries. I am the advocate supervisor for Advocacy Resource Center. I work full-time in this field because I know what it feels like to be in those dark places. And I can't explain how amazing it feels to finally find that group of people that you can really depend on as family. Gate gives me that.
At Gate Ministries, we believe that in order to fight human trafficking, sexual exploitation, and sexual trauma, we need to do it in 4 ways: prevent, rescue, restore, and advocate. Prevention is key to fighting this battle, and we do it through community awareness, training with law enforcement, churches, schools, and many other groups. Through these events, we are hoping to equip thousands of people all across Texas. The second thing that we do is help rescue the individuals and act as a second responder for those who have been identified as victims. After a victim has been rescued, we then walk through the restoration process with the women. We do that in a number of ways, but one way is through our Magdalene House program. Magdalene House is our 12-month program where the women can live in a safe, loving home environment where they can come and heal. We have life skills classes, counseling, equine therapy, and art therapy. It's a place where they are loved and cared for while we help them restore their lives and heal from their trauma. We are also advocates for these women, not only in our residential program, but also for those who are not in need of the Magdalene House through the art program. We partner with the court systems to seek justice for them and make sure these women get everything they need to heal and have a restored life. Our goal is to prevent this tragedy from happening, rescue those who are victims, restore lives, and build a restoration ranch for those who have been victimized, and advocate for justice. This task may seem daunting, but you can make a difference. Here's how you can help. You can donate your time, energy, or resources. You can join our prayer team. Join us, and together we can help end modern-day slavery.
Like that video, we just created that for a recent fundraiser, first annual Wine for the Win event, and it really just covers what we do as a whole, and it shows our heart behind all the things that we do. So today, Karla and I will just kind of briefly go through um, those few steps of prevent, rescue, and restore and advocate, and just open it up for questions as well. So these are just some areas of where somebody can be exploited at home. That's what we're seeing in our area is familial trafficking. There's prostitution, brothels, that is heavily, it's everywhere, but that's really what we see in Houston. Escort agencies, pornography, the internet makes this horrible crime just so accessible through pornography and internet chat rooms and things like that, and social media. Just some red flags of human trafficking, and I explain injuries, wearing short skirts and cold weather, multiple hotel keys, and phones and things like that. Branding, tattoos, we see a lot of that out of San Antonio, looking to their trafficker for approval on certain things. So this was a report done in 2018 of the numbers of trafficking. So sex trafficking is #1 in Texas. There's California, Texas, and Florida. And so this is kind of honing in on why we focus on what we do. And Karla, feel free to jump in if I'm going too fast on anything, if you want to add anything.
No, you're doing great. I wasn't going to say anything. I did want to talk about this a little bit though. Cool thing, you guys. One of my various positions that I hold, one entails advocating, not exactly lobbying, but advocating for change as far as legislation and things like that. So Texas is now actually the leading state in the fight against trafficking legislatively, because Texas has recently just made purchasing sex a felony for the first offense. We are the only state that has done that in the nation. So that kind of, with all of the amazing people like you that support organizations like us, we have actually been able to get this pushed through, as well as some other legislation that was recently passed. I know you guys mentioned the hotel training and things like that. I'm actually have the honor of helping Homeland Security create that training video. So excited about that. But because of things like that, we have actually gotten pushed to the leading state in the fight against trafficking, which is really amazing.
Thank you, Karla. Yeah,
Yes,
it's really exciting to be in a state that is really leading the way, and being able to work with the governor's office, the child sex trafficking team, and in multiple ways we do that, and we'll go into that as well. And the rescue side, like in the video, Che mentioned that we are that second responder. So a lot of the ways that we receive applicants for the home or the advocate program is through referrals, whether they've been identified in the community, impacted, heard Karla's testimony, make an outcry, recovered by law enforcement, or they've heard about our program because we are state approved. So we are referred through the jail system as well. So we get a lot of jail mail is what we call it. And then also with our partnerships through street outreach, victim services, and we will be stepping into the courtrooms this fall, which we are really excited about. Care coordination is one of our many partnerships with the governor's office. They have an initiative to create these response teams within each county and region. For when a child is identified, there's a proper system and protocol in place, and all the players are at the table, similar to a multidisciplinary team, which has been in place for a long time for children who've been sexually abused. This is when they're identified as exploited or trafficked. This is also expanded, and Karla can kind of share a little bit more about the STOP program.
So, like I said, the position I have with the governor's office, that was actually a council group that was created about 2.5 years ago. But the representatives for the child sex trafficking team sat down with about 12 of us survivors that are on a council group now, and asked us, how can we help adult survivors? And our suggestion as a collective was to create and implement the same type of care coordination protocols, but for adults rather than just children. And here we are about 2.5 years later, and we are starting the Stop Human Trafficking, which is us creating the same type of protocol to put in place statewide, that is the steps and everything that you would follow had someone like law enforcement or the medical team, whatever it is, hospitality industry, whoever identifies or helps recover an adult survivor. We now have those same similarity protocols put in place throughout the state, or going to hopefully eventually be throughout the state. It's starting in Bexar County, and it goes and encompasses the surrounding 12 counties.
Some pictures of the child sex trafficking team, us being involved with them, and some San Antonio outreach. There's Karla meeting First Lady at an event as well. So we love our partners there, and we work with Debbie Solcher. She's our regional administrator. She's amazing. The restoration part is where we really focus on at the house for healing and restoring the mind, the body, the soul, and the spirit. So this is something that we are not on the crisis in, although we do help individuals who may be in a crisis situation. We help them get the needs and the resources that they need at that moment. But then we, like, for example, we'll send them to detox for 30 days, and then they can come back to us with a clear mind and let us know if they're ready to commit in our program, whether that's residential or advocacy. Magdalene House, like I mentioned, is state approved. It's a 12-month residential program. We just celebrated one of our residents this week, as she is the first resident to successfully graduate the one-year program. Past residents have, we still look at their journey as a success, but they had to leave a little bit early to go back home to children, to families, have a child and go back home and take care of that child. So a lot of different life situations, but it's been an amazing journey to just walk alongside these women. We opened the doors last year in January. So through the whole COVID thing, we were full, and we have 4 beds. So we've had rotating for residents. And I really believe that COVID downtime had allowed us to really pour into these women and figuring out their needs and helping them heal. So it's been a really special year for us. Some pictures of the tiny little Magdalene house. We do hope to expand with some transitional living into the restoration ranch. So that's probably our 5 to 10 year plan. We do partner with Christian Women's Job Corps, and 3 of our residents have graduated from that program and have sustainable jobs right now. So advocacy, this is something that we have been doing all along for residents that, or applicants that we couldn't meet the need. We didn't have enough beds, or the program didn't suit them and their needs very well. We would connect them with other resources. So we just formalized our advocate program in February, and it's been a journey, and it's been a lot of fun, a lot of new development happening. So it's focused on relational advocacy. That's where they find healing and wholeness. They've always been outcasts or have isolated themselves. So getting them involved in community and relationships is really important. I am currently working with two clients and getting them plugged into the classes that we offer through the Magdalene House. And they have jobs, they live in sober living. So it's just walking alongside them in any court obligations that they have, helping them through that process so they can be sustainable on their own. And then we have applied for a grant in October that will be funded in October. We haven't been announced. It has not been announced if we have received it or not. But our goal is to become court-appointed advocates, similar to what CASA is doing for children, but we would be doing that for adults. So any individual who's been sexually traumatized as a child or an adult, going through drug court and has this repeated offense. So it can look like a lot of different things, and we are narrowing down our focus in what we will be providing and the services that we'll be able to offer as court-appointed advocates. And I did share a Google form as well. I thought that was a really good idea, just to collect emails. If you are interested in learning more about MercyGate and updates and what we're doing with the ARC program, I would be more than happy to send out the flyers that we have on that and the program overview. So you can sign up in that Google form and share your email. Karla, did you want to talk about the survivor advocate leadership?
Yeah, real quick, I will. So we've noticed a trend in the women that go through our program successfully, and then they, reintegrate into society or be reunited with family. Something really cool is that all these women want to give back. They want to help the next person. They want to pull more people out of the fire, so to say. So they're like, Karla, how do I get to do what you do? And it was a journey for me, and I kind of fell into this the way that it happened. But so I started a survivor advocate leadership training where these women can learn how to do presentations, how to effectively educate others on with their testimony implemented in an educational piece to share with people just like you guys. So they go through like a training with me to eventually step into the line of work of being an advocate themselves. So I think that's kind of my favorite part. So
And you do a really good job at it, Karla.
thank you.
So we do create an individualized care plan for each survivor or client that we have in the ARC program, even in the residential program. It's really important for us just to work closely with them and in their journey and check in them with them on a daily basis and then a weekly basis. And so it's kind of this phase out program. So there's no time frame, no 1 year commitment with this. It's strictly individualized. This is us when we went to the Kirk County Courthouse and presented in front of the Commissioner's Court our partnership proposal, and the grant that we were seeking through the governor's office, it had to go through the county. So we needed partnership and we needed that approval through them to move forward. And it has been really, it happened so quick, and it's been an awesome journey so far. I didn't get to update this, but on the impact that we're making. So the Magdalene House in general, and ARC will be a little bit different. The numbers are a little bit higher there. But the Magdalene House, since January, we've had 9 women come in and a total of 24 children. So we don't house the children. We help the women heal so they can go back to their children, or a lot of the situations, it's CPS involved. So the children have been removed from their care, and so reuniting the families. So that's kind of the impact that we've made so far through the Magdalene House. And then just a brief overview of kind of what our restoration ranch vision would look like. We would have everything on site, all of the classrooms, multiple Magdalene houses, transitional living, so that they can they can still be in our care, be reunited with their children, and eventually have their children on site as well. You know, it's always important to save the National Human Trafficking Hotline on your phones in case you ever see anything. And then also, if you don't have that, just contact law enforcement is what we always encourage. And I think that's about it for today. Karla, did you have anything to add?
Thank you guys so much for having us and inviting us to share with you guys. I know we went a few minutes over. I apologize about that. We're all about partnerships. We're all about linking arms and, you know, just being together in this fight. I mean, that's like the whole point, you know, is like if we're really going to see change, it takes all of us to be present at the table. So just thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for all the work that you guys are doing with the platform that you have. I just think it is amazing. And I thought that it was really cool when Aubri told me, hey, we got a present for Galveston. It was probably a couple of weeks after that I got invited to actually go to Galveston in September for a big fundraiser for another organization. But you know, I think it's really cool how everybody gets connected. So I think it's really awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you to both of you. What a great organization. What a great mission that you have and mission and ministry that you have.
How do you, from A to Z, right? I mean,
Right.
That's what I'm kind of contemplating. And the question that comes to mind is treatment modalities. What is your focus as far, you know, I know PTSD is going to be there. I know, you know, you're going to encounter psychosis. You're going to encounter food deprivation and fluids. I mean, the vastness is just amazing of what you can encounter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see how people are approaching that for contemplation.
I mean, just a little piece of you know, of information. Majority of the survivors that we encounter have all of those things. So it's a very complex situation. So that's why what we do is called an individualized treatment plan, because some of them, the trauma effects may not be as bad as, you know, something else that they're going. But then again, there might be some other medical concerns that really hold a whole lot more weight than mental concerns, you know. So we honestly sit down with a team of survivors, professionals, medical professionals even, and we come up with a plan to see how this particular survivor can get the best care possible. And that goes for like counseling, psychiatric care, medical treatment, whatever that needs to be. And I will share with you, so Mercy Gate Ministries is the second responder to when people are identified, but we are not a crisis center. So we cannot house the ones that need that level of care. So what we do is we actually partner with another agency here in town, and that's their specialized part. That's what they do, is that crisis part. They help them detox off of drugs, which is usually a big thing, and that's mainly the main thing that keeps them from coming directly into our house, is the fact that they have to go through a detox process. So that usually takes about 20 to 30 days. Now, within that 20 to 30 days, the other place that they are placed with here in town or in San Antonio, somewhere close by, they are actually cared for with all of those things. And by the time that they actually get to us, they are in a place where they, one, want the help, but two, they have a little bit more clear mind. They're off of the drugs. They can make rational decisions for themselves and things like this. So that's about the time that we come in. That's about the time that's only for the girls that are placed in our residential program. Now, we do have some girls that we help out that are in the non-residential program, but for those particular girls, we are mainly just advocates. So we are helping them navigate through life. We are helping them, you know, get to doctor's appointments if need be, things like that, helping them in the court system, get their kids back, or whatever that looks like. We partner with other agencies and organizations that actually specialize in that crisis care. So that first like 20, 30 days, that's really, really hard. So they actually do that. And then people are placed, or then the women are placed with us from that point. And we also get a lot of referrals through the court system. So if, and whenever that's the case, they're either coming straight from county jail or straight from prison. So we don't have all of that other encompassing things like the effects of drugs or stuff like that. So it's a little bit easier starting point for us. And I don't want to say it like that. It's just we are a very small organization. So we have to do what we can with the staff that we have. Until we get to that point where we are growing bigger, which is constant. We're constantly getting bigger. But yes, I hope that answered a little bit of your question.